He gave the order without even looking up. Bring her to me. His men had orders to capture a woman connected to his enemy's family. Simple, routine, nothing personal. But when the doors opened and she was pushed into the room, the most feared man in the city froze completely, because the woman standing in front of him was someone he thought he had lost forever. Stay till the end, because this story is about to change everything you think you know about him. The warehouse was silent except for the sound of heavy boots against the concrete floor. Nathan sat behind his large wooden desk, his sharp eyes scanning through documents about a rival family that had been causing trouble in his territory. He was known throughout the city as Nathan Cole, the Mafia boss, a man who built his empire through fear, intelligence, and absolute control. Nobody dared to cross him. Nobody dared to question his orders. And tonight, his orders were simple. His men had discovered that the daughter of his biggest rival was hiding somewhere in the city, and Nathan wanted her found and brought to him immediately. Sir, one of his men said, standing at the door. We found her. She was hiding in an apartment near the docks. Nathan did not look up from his papers. Bring her in. The heavy metal doors creaked open, and two of Nathan's men walked in, holding a woman between them. Her hands were tied, and she struggled slightly against their grip, her head down, her hair covering most of her face. Let her go, Nathan said, still not looking up. She's not going anywhere. His men released her, and she stumbled forward, catching herself before falling. Slowly, she lifted her head, brushing her hair away from her face. Her eyes filled with fear and defiance at the same time. That was when Nathan finally looked up, and everything in the room seemed to stop. His pen slipped from his fingers, falling silently onto the desk. The papers he had been reading blurred completely out of focus. His breath caught in his throat, and for the first time in years, Nathan Cole, the man who never showed weakness in front of anyone, felt his entire body go numb with shock. Emma, he whispered, his voice barely audible. The woman standing before him, tied and trembling, was not just some stranger connected to his enemy. She was Emma Reyes, the woman he had loved 5 years ago, the woman he had believed was dead. Emma's eyes widened when she heard her name spoken in that familiar voice. She looked up properly for the first time since entering the room, and the moment her eyes met his, her whole body froze. Nathan, she said, disbelief written across her face. It can't be. You're supposed to be dead. Nathan stood up so fast that his chair fell backward with a loud crash. He walked around his desk, his men watching in confusion, unsure of what was happening in front of them. They had never seen their boss react this way to anyone. I thought the same about you, Nathan said, stopping just a few feet away from her. His eyes searched her face, taking in every detail, as if trying to convince himself she was truly real and not some cruel dream. 5 years ago, Nathan and Emma had been young and deeply in love, both from families connected to the same dangerous world. Nathan's family and Emma's family had once been allies, until a devastating conflict broke that alliance apart. In the chaos of that war, a building had exploded during an attack meant for Nathan's father, and Emma had been inside at the time. Nathan had watched the building burn from a distance, unable to reach her in time. He was told there were no survivors. He had mourned her for months, blaming himself every single day for not protecting her, for not getting her out in time. That loss had changed him completely, hardening his heart and turning him into the ruthless leader he became. But now, she was standing right in front of him, alive, breathing, real. How? Nathan asked, his voice shaking with emotions he had buried for years. How are you alive? I was told you died in that fire. Emma's eyes filled with tears. I got out through a back exit before the explosion happened. Someone helped me escape, but they told me it was too dangerous to come back, that if your enemies knew I was alive, they would use me against you. I've been hiding ever since, moving from city to city, changing my name, trying to survive. Nathan's men exchanged confused glances. They had orders to capture a woman connected to their boss's rival family for questioning, unaware that this woman was actually someone from Nathan's forgotten past, someone whose reappearance was about to shake the entire foundation of everything they thought they knew about their boss. Sir, one of the men finally spoke up carefully, should we leave you two alone? Nathan did not answer immediately. His eyes remained locked on Emma, still trying to process the impossible reality standing before him. After a long moment, he finally spoke, his voice firm again, though something softer lingered underneath. Everyone, leave the room, now. His men quickly obeyed, closing the heavy doors behind them, leaving Nathan and Emma alone for the first time in 5 long years. Emma took a shaky breath. Nathan, There's something else you need to know. Something about why I was really hiding, and it's not just because of the danger from your enemies. Nathan's expression shifted from shock to concern. What is it? Emma hesitated, her hands trembling slightly as she looked directly into his eyes. It's about our daughter. Nathan's heart pounded so hard he could hear it in his own ears. Our daughter, he repeated, as if the words did not make sense to him. Emma, what are you talking about? Emma wiped a tear from her cheek, her voice trembling as she spoke. When the explosion happened 5 years ago, I was already pregnant. I didn't even know it myself until weeks later, after I had already gone into hiding. I was terrified, Nathan. I didn't know who to trust, and I was told your enemies would use a child against you if they ever found out. Nathan felt like the ground beneath him had shifted completely. You've been raising our child alone this entire time, hiding her from me. I didn't have a choice, Emma said quickly. The man who helped me escape the fire, his name was Robert. He warned me that if anyone connected to your world discovered I was pregnant, both of our lives, and the baby's life, would be in constant danger. So I disappeared completely. I changed my name, moved constantly, and raised her the best way I could. Alone. Nathan ran his hands through his hair, trying to process everything at once. 5 years. 5 years he had spent believing Emma was dead, mourning her, allowing that grief to turn him into someone colder and more dangerous. And during all that time, he had a daughter growing up somewhere in the world, completely unaware that her father was alive too. Where is she now? Nathan asked, his voice urgent. Is she safe? She's with a woman I trust, someone who watches her whenever I have to travel for work, Emma explained. I got a message that men were looking for me, so I ran, hoping to lead them away from her. I didn't know it was your men, Nathan. I thought it was someone from my father's old enemies. Nathan's jaw tightened at the mention of her father. Emma's father had been the head of a rival family, the same family Nathan's men were originally sent to investigate tonight. The irony of the entire situation was almost too much to process. Your father, Nathan said slowly. Is he still alive? Emma shook her head. He died 2 years ago. Natural causes, not violence, if that's what you're worried about. After he passed, some of his old associates tried to rebuild his network, using his name to gain power. That's probably why your men were sent to find me. They probably assumed I was involved in that. Nathan finally allowed himself to step closer to her, gently untying the rope still binding her wrists, something he should have done the moment he recognized her. I'm sorry, he said quietly. If I had known it was you, none of this would have happened. Emma rubbed her wrists, looking up at him with an expression that mixed relief and lingering fear. Nathan, I need to see my daughter. I need to know she's safe. Our daughter, Nathan corrected softly. Emma's eyes softened slightly at his words. Our daughter, she repeated. Nathan immediately called for one of his most trusted men. I need a car ready in 5 minutes, and I need eyes on every route leading to the docks. Nobody follows us, understood? Asterisk. Within minutes, Nathan and Emma were in a car speeding through the quiet city streets, heading toward the small apartment where Emma's daughter, their daughter, was staying with the woman Emma trusted. The entire ride was filled with tense silence, both of them lost in their own overwhelming thoughts. What's her name? Nathan finally asked, breaking the silence. Emma smiled faintly for the first time since they had reunited. Lily. Her name is Lily. Nathan repeated the name quietly, as if testing how it felt on his tongue. Lily, he said. She has your smile, I bet. She has your eyes, Emma replied. The car finally stopped outside a small apartment building on the edge of the city. Emma practically jumped out before the car had fully stopped, rushing toward the entrance with Nathan following closely behind her. She knocked rapidly on a door on the second floor, her hands shaking with anticipation. The door opened, revealing an older woman who looked immediately relieved to see Emma. Thank goodness you're okay. Lily has been asking for you all evening. Where is she? Emma asked, stepping inside. The woman led them into a small living room, where a little girl, no older than 4 years old, sat coloring on the floor. She looked up the moment she heard footsteps, her face lighting up instantly. Mommy, she shouted, running toward Emma and wrapping her small arms around her legs. Emma knelt down, hugging her daughter tightly, tears streaming down her face. Nathan stood frozen in the doorway, watching the scene unfold in front of him, his chest tightening with emotions he had not felt in years. Lily suddenly noticed Nathan standing there and tilted her head curiously. Mommy, who is that? Emma looked up at Nathan, her eyes filled with both nervousness and hope. She gently guided Lily to look properly at the man standing before her. "Lily," Emma said softly, "this is your daddy." The little girl's eyes widened with surprise. She stared at Nathan for a long moment, studying his face carefully, before a small, shy smile appeared on her lips. Nathan slowly knelt down to her level, his usually intimidating presence completely melting away in front of this small child who shared his eyes. "Hi, Lily," he said gently, his voice thick with emotion. "I've been looking for you, even though I didn't know it." Lily giggled softly and, without hesitation, ran forward and hugged him tightly. Nathan wrapped his arms around his daughter for the very first time, closing his eyes as 5 years of grief and loneliness slowly began to lift from his shoulders. But just as this reunion reached its most emotional moment, Nathan's phone buzzed urgently in his pocket. He reluctantly answered it, still holding Lily close. His expression darkened almost instantly as he listened to the voice on the other end. "Sir," his second-in-command said urgently, "we have a problem. Someone leaked information that Emma Reyes is alive, and word has already reached the remaining members of her father's old network. They know you're connected to her now, and they're not happy about it." Nathan's grip on his daughter tightened protectively as his eyes met Emma's across the room, both of them realizing at the same moment that this happy reunion might have just placed all three of them in serious danger. Nathan ended the call, his face tense with worrying. He looked at Emma, who had already picked up on the seriousness of the situation from his expression alone. "What happened?" Emma asked, pulling Lily closer to her side. "Someone leaked the information that you're alive," Nathan said, his voice low so Lily would not fully understand the danger they were discussing. "The remaining members of your father's old network know about it. They also know I'm involved now." Emma's face turned pale. "That's not good. Those men, Nathan, they're not like the people your organization deals with. They're desperate and unpredictable. My father kept them under control, but without him, they've become reckless." Nathan looked down at Lily, who was watching them with confused, worried eyes, sensing the tension in the room even though she did not understand the words being exchanged. He forced a small, reassuring smile for her sake before turning back to Emma. "We need to move you both somewhere safe immediately," Nathan said. "My main estate has the best security in the city. Nobody gets in or out without my permission." Emma hesitated. "Nathan, I've been running for 5 years. I don't know if I can trust that anywhere is truly safe." "You can trust me," Nathan said firmly, his eyes locking onto hers with an intensity that left no room for doubt. "I lost you once because I wasn't fast enough, wasn't careful enough. I will not make that mistake again. Not with you, and definitely not with our daughter." Something in his voice made Emma's fear ease slightly. She nodded slowly. "Okay, we'll go with you." Within the hour, Nathan had arranged for a secure convoy to transport Emma, Lily, and the trusted family friend to his heavily guarded estate on the outskirts of the city. The mansion was surrounded by high walls, armed guards, and advanced security systems that Nathan had spent years perfecting to protect himself from exactly this kind of threat. As they settled into one of the mansion's private wings, Nathan gathered his top men in his office for an emergency meeting. "I want everything you can find on the remaining members of the Reyes network," he ordered. "Names, locations, weaknesses, everything." "Sir," his second-in-command, a sharp-eyed man named Victor, spoke up cautiously. "Some of our own men are questioning why we're protecting Emma Reyes. Her family was our rival for years. There are people in our organization who won't be happy about this alliance." Nathan's expression hardened. "Emma is not my rival. She's the mother of my child, and as of tonight, she and Lily are both under my direct protection. Anyone who has a problem with that can bring their concerns directly to me." Victor nodded, understanding the finality in his boss's tone, and left to carry out his orders. Later that night, after Lily had finally fallen asleep in one of the mansion's guest rooms, Nathan found Emma standing on the balcony, staring out at the city lights in the distance. He walked up quietly and stood beside her. "She's an amazing little girl," Nathan said softly. "You did an incredible job raising her, especially alone, especially while hiding from everyone." Emma smiled faintly, though sadness lingered in her eyes. "It wasn't easy. There were nights I didn't know where we would sleep, or how I would pay for food. But she always kept me going. She's the reason I never gave up, no matter how hard things got." "I should have been there," Nathan said, his voice filled with quiet regret. "If I had searched harder after the explosion, if I hadn't accepted what I was told so easily. You couldn't have known." "Nathan," Emma interrupted gently, We were both lied to. Robert made the choice to tell you I died, believing it would protect all of us. I was angry at him for a long time too, but eventually I understood he thought he was doing the right thing. Nathan clenched his jaw. Robert made that decision without either of our permission. He took 5 years away from us, 5 years I can never get back. Emma placed a gentle hand on his arm. We can't change the past, but we're here now, together, and Lily finally has both her parents. That has to count for something. Nathan turned to face her fully, his eyes searching hers. Emma, these past few hours have shown me something I thought I lost forever. I never stopped loving you, even after I believed you were gone. Seeing you again, meeting our daughter, it's given me something I haven't felt in 5 years. Hope. Before Emma could respond, Nathan's phone buzzed again, breaking the intimate moment between them. He answered quickly, his expression shifting from warmth to alarm within seconds. Sir, Victor's urgent voice came through the phone. We have a serious problem. One of our informants just confirmed that the Rays network isn't just planning to retaliate. They've discovered the location of this estate, and they're moving forward with an attack tonight. Nathan's grip tightened around the phone. How many men? At least 20, possibly more, Victor replied. They know Emma and the child are here. Sir, they're not just coming for revenge. They're planning to take Lily. Nathan's blood ran cold. He looked at Emma, whose face had gone completely white after catching fragments of the conversation. Get every available man to secure the perimeter immediately, Nathan ordered firmly, already moving toward the room where his daughter was sleeping. Nobody gets near this estate tonight. Nobody. As Nathan rushed to protect his newly discovered family, one thought echoed loudly in his mind. He had already lost Emma once, believing it was forever. He was not about to lose either of them again, no matter what it cost him tonight. The mansion, usually calm and quiet at night, transformed into a fortress preparing for war. Nathan's men moved quickly through every corridor, securing windows, checking weapons, and taking positions along the outer walls. Nathan himself rushed into the room where Lily was sleeping, gently scooping his daughter into his arms before she could even fully wake up. Daddy. Lily mumbled sleepily, rubbing her eyes. It's okay, sweetheart, Nathan whispered, holding her close. We're just going to a safer room for a little while. Emma followed closely behind, her face pale with fear but her eyes sharp with determination. Nathan led them both into a hidden safe room deep within the mansion. A room built specifically for situations exactly like this one. Stay here, Nathan said firmly, gently placing Lily into Emma's arms once they were inside. This room is reinforced. Nobody can get through those doors without the code, and only I have it. Nathan, please be careful, Emma said, grabbing his hand before he could turn away. We just found each other again. Don't make me lose you too. Nathan gently cupped her face in his hands. I promise you, Emma, I will do everything in my power to make sure nothing happens to either of you. I've spent 5 years protecting an empire that meant nothing without you and Lily in it. I'm not losing this family again. He kissed her forehead softly before rushing out to join his men. The heavy door of the safe room ceiling shut behind him with a secure, mechanical click. Outside, chaos had already begun. Headlights from multiple vehicles appeared at the edge of the estate's long driveway, followed by the sound of engines roaring closer. Nathan's men took their positions immediately, forming a defensive line around the mansion's perimeter. Sir, they're approaching from the east and west sides simultaneously, Victor reported, standing beside Nathan with a tense expression. It looks like they're serious about this. Then we make sure they regret it, Nathan replied coldly, his earlier warmth completely replaced by the calculated focus that had made him one of the most feared men in the city. The attack began quickly, gunfire echoing through the previously peaceful night air. Nathan's men, well-trained and prepared, fought back with precision, using the estate's layout and security advantages to their benefit. Nathan himself moved strategically, directing his men while ensuring the attackers made no progress toward the mansion's interior. Inside the safe room, Emma held Lily tightly, trying to shield her daughter's ears from the distant sounds of chaos happening outside. Lily, sensing her mother's fear despite her attempts to hide it, wrapped her small arms around Emma's neck. Mommy, is Daddy going to be okay? Lily whispered. Emma forced a brave smile, though tears threatened to fall. Daddy is very strong, baby. He's going to protect us. I promise. The battle outside raged for what felt like hours, though in reality it lasted only about 30 tense minutes. Nathan's superior numbers, combined with his men's loyalty and training, slowly overwhelmed the attacking force. One by one, the remaining members of the Rays network were either captured or forced to retreat. Realizing far too late that they had underestimated Nathan's strength and preparation. As the gunfire finally died down, Nathan stood in the middle of the estate's damaged courtyard, breathing heavily, his suit torn and dirtied from the fight, but otherwise unharmed. Victor approached him, slightly out of breath himself. "It's over, sir. We captured most of them. The rest fled. I don't think they'll be trying anything like this again anytime soon." Nathan nodded, exhaustion and relief washing over him simultaneously. "Good. Make sure the perimeter stays secure for the rest of the night regardless." Without wasting another moment, Nathan rushed back into the mansion, straight toward the safe room. He quickly entered the security code, and the heavy door slid open, revealing Emma and Lily still huddled together, both looking up with wide, hopeful eyes the moment they saw him. "Daddy!" Lily shouted, running straight into his arms. Nathan lifted her up immediately, holding her close as relief flooded through his entire body. Emma rushed forward as well, wrapping her arms around both of them, tears finally falling freely down her face. "It's over," Nathan whispered, holding his small family close. "You're both safe now. I promise you, from this moment forward, nobody will ever threaten either of you again." In the weeks that followed, Nathan worked tirelessly to completely dismantle whatever remained of the Rays network, ensuring no future threat could ever endanger Emma or Lily again. Slowly, life within the heavily guarded estate began to settle into something unexpectedly peaceful. Lily quickly grew comfortable in her new home, filling the once cold and quiet mansion with laughter and energy it had never known before. Nathan, the man once known only for his ruthlessness and control, found himself transformed by fatherhood and rekindled love. He still ran his empire with the same intelligence and authority as before. But now, every decision he made carried an additional purpose, protecting the family he thought he had lost forever. One quiet evening, as the sun set beautifully over the estate's gardens, Nathan found Emma sitting on a bench, watching Lily happily chase butterflies nearby. He walked over and sat beside her, taking her hand gently in his. "5 years ago, I lost everything that mattered to me," Nathan said softly. "Tonight, watching her laugh like that, watching you smile again without fear, I finally understand what it truly means to have it all back." Emma leaned her head against his shoulder, watching their daughter play freely for the first time in her short life. "We finally have our family, Nathan. No more running, no more hiding." Nathan wrapped his arm around her, pulling her closer as they watched Lily's joyful laughter fill the golden evening air. "No more hiding," Nathan repeated softly. "Just us, together, exactly as it should have always been."